Hello everybody, welcome once again. Yason here, back again with another YouTube tutorial. So in this tutorial today we are going to learn how to build ChatGPT using HTML, CSS and JavaScript only. So as you can see here in this video, we are going to learn how to work with OpenAI APIs, and then we are going to integrate it in our HTML and CSS website so to build something amazing like this. As you can see, if I type here hello and then I hit on this button, it is going to say loading, and it will load for us, and it will fetch a response from ChatGPT, which is say hello, how can I assist you today? So this is the response from ChatGPT, and this is an amazing video, and I hope you're gonna like it. So let's get started. So guys, before we get started, if you didn't subscribe to my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that like button and hit that notification bell to get notified whenever I release such kind of amazing content like this. So let's get started. I'm going to open my VS Code. As you can see, we have our empty HTML file, CSS and JavaScript. They are all empty. And first thing I'm going to start using my HTML. So in my HTML, inside the body, I have two sections, which is going to be the first section. I'm going to give it a class of site. Now, the section 2 with the class of main. Inside site nav, I'm going to give a button. Then the button says that new chat. Alright. After the button, I want article with the class of history, where we are going to store all our histories of searches. And then after the history, I'm going to give it an article. This article is going to be having class of nav. Inside this article, I'm going to say p tag, and then it is made by Yason. Oops, I say Yason, but it is Yason. Perfect. So in our main, H1, I'm going to say Yason GPT, but I'm going to just call GPT or Chat GPT. So this is what I'm going to write here. After that, I want to give it a paragraph with the ID, and then this ID is going to be output. Inside this one, I'm going to give it a span, and then the span with the ID of loading. And then I'm going to say loading. Perfect. Article with the class of bottom section, bottom section, like that. Inside this article, I want the article with the input container. inside the article with the class of input container, the first thing I'm going to put input because we want an input there, and then I'm going to say button. I want the button to be in the article, and then I'm going to give it an ID of submit. So inside this button, I'm just going to be giving the arrow like that, and then after this article, I want a paragraph, and in the paragraph I'm going to give it a class of info like this, and then the paragraph going to say ChatGPT. October free research preview. I have to put this arrow here in capital. So I'm going to save the file, and then I will hit refresh here. So this is the output we want. Let me close this console. Okay, perfect. So let's come to our CSS, but before going to our CSS, we have to first come and link our CSS up here. Under the title, I'm going to say CSS, and then from there we come and put our design. So the first thing we have to design is work with our universal operators. So in the universal operator, I'm just going to give it a color, and the color is going to be of white. That's the only thing I want to use in a universal operator. Then from there, I'm going to target the body, and then give it the font size. The font size is going to be of 33 pixels. On hyphen size of 33 pixels. Oops. I have to remove first the default margin and padding out. After removing it, then I'm going to give it a background color, and it is going to be this color code of ChatGPT, which is 34, 35, 34, 35, 41. Yeah, this is the color code I want, and then I want to give it a display flex. Perfect. Let me save the file and show you. So this is what we want here. I also take this head one and then give it a font whose size of now 32 pixels, and then I want to give it a font weight of 600, and then some padding. So the padding is going to start from top of 200 pixels left and right to be 0. Perfect. So I want to target the class of site hyphen nav. Or does. It does. It is the same as it is hyphen. I'm going to give it a background color, the first thing, and then the background color is going to be black in color, but something kind of black, but this is the color code. I'm going to say 2021, and then 12 and 3. Like this is the color code. I want to give it some width, and then the width is going to be 244 pixels. I want to give it a height. The height is going to take the full screen, and then I want to give it a display of flex. After giving it a display of flex, I want to give a flex direction. The direction I want it to be column. So I want to justify everything to be space between. Perfect. So if I come here, as you can see, everything is spread away from each other. I have to target that main now. In the main section, I'm going to say display flex again. Align item to the center. I want to say flex direction, and then the flex direction is going to be column. Justify content to space between, or space between. So now it is now text alignment. I want the text alignment to be in the center also. Then give it a height. If you can give me the height, I'm going to say give the height of 100 viewport height, because I want also the main to be having the same height like the site nav. I'm going to give it a width of 100%. After giving it a width of 100%, I want to give it a position of relative, like this. So in the position of relative, because we are putting this one, we want our output is going, want the ID of our output. First thing, our output has to be position of absolute, like that. And then it is going to be starting from top of 20 pixels, and then left of 130 pixels. I'm going to give some background color. Then the background color is going to be RGBA, which is going to be white color, but with some opacity of 0.5, like that. And then I want to give it some padding. The padding is going to be of 10 pixels in every side. Give it some border radius. The border radius of 5. I'm going to give it 5 pixel border radius, and then I'm going to give it some color, and then the color I'm going to give it this color code of black. Then I want to give the maximum width. The maximum width of it, I want it to be 910 pixel. Okay. So this one is not going to do a lot, but it will just change our button to look nice. Our output display to looks nice. So I'm going to take the bottom hyphen section. So in the bottom section, I want to first give it a width, and then the width is going to be of 100%. Give it a display of flex. Then I want some flex direction. So the flex direction, I'm going to say column. And then I want to justify everything to center, and then alignment of everything to be center also. Justify content to be in the center. Then alignment of everything for alignment of items to be in the center also. Yeah, which is okay with me like that. This is what we want here. So I have the info, if you could remember, it is just text. I want to give it a color, and then the color is going to be RGB here, and it is going to be this color code. Then I want to give it some font size. The font size, I'm going to give it a little bit something small, and then I want to give some padding, and then the padding is going to be in every side of 10 pixels like this. Perfect. I have to put this on as a class like this. Yeah, it's looking amazing now. So the next thing for us to do is to now target our input. I'm going to come here, it is called input because it is just a tag name, and I'm going to remove the border out because I don't want border in the input. I want to give it some background, the background color, and then it is going to be this same background color, which is this. Alright, I want to give it a width. The width is going to be 100%. I want to give it a font size. The font size is going to be of 20 pixels. And then the padding. The padding is going to be of 12 pixels, top and bottom, left and right to be 15 pixels. Perfect. And then I want to give it some border radius. And then the border radius, I'm going to give it of 5 pixels. Okay. Yeah, so when the input is on focus, I want to remove the border out of the input. So I'm going to say input. If it is on focus, I want to remove the outline out. So I want the outline to be none. Let me save the file and then give it a try. As you can see, our input is looking okay. So let me target now our input container, class of input container, input hyphen container. So inside the input container, I want to give it the width of 100. And then after giving it the width of 100, I want to give it a maximum width. The maximum width is going to be of 900 pixels. And then I want to give it a position of absolute, of relative fast, because the button is a button and the button is going to be positioned as absolute. So I'm just going to copy this one, and then remember we have the button of submit with the ID of submit. Perfect. So what do we want to do in our buttons? The button want to first give it a position of absolute. After giving it a position of absolute, I want to give it a right, because I want it to start from right of 0, and then I want it to be at bottom of 8 pixels. And then I want to give it a cursor. The cursor should be pointer. Then I'm going to give it font weight. The font weight, I'm going to give it a bold, like that. Then I want to give it some background color, and I got the background color code, which is RGB 1001 207 1001. So this is the color code, and then I want the color, the red text color, to be white in color. Perfect. So after that, I want to give it some padding, and then the padding is going to be from top of 7 pixels, left and right to be 15 pixels. After giving the padding like this, then I want to give it some border radius, because I want it to be having border radius of 5 pixels. So after saving the file, come back to the end result. This is what we see. So the next thing is to play now with the button. I have button, and then in the button I want to give it a border, and then the border is going to be solid 0.5 pixels, and then this background color. So the real background color is going to now be transparent. I don't want any background color here. It has to be transparent. And then I want to say border radius. The border radius is going to go 5 pixels. I want to give some margin and padding. And I'm going to give the margin of 10 pixels, then the padding also of 10 pixels. So as you can see, okay, it is not taking effect. Work button. Let me come to my HTML. Say button. Why is it? It is not taking effect. So the reason why it is not showing, because as you can see, we specified 2 borders, border here and border here, but this one has to be a border radius, not border, like this. So if I save the file and then come, as you can see, our border is there, but our input is not, it is not actually the same as we are expecting in our as we are expecting, because the one I saw you in the demo, it is kind of different. So to fix that one, as you can see somewhere else here, I messed up. I did not put the units of the maximum width. As you can see in our input container, I did not put the maximum unit of the max width, the unit of the max width. So I have to apply that pixel in order for it to get to where it is, like as we are expecting. So this is what we have now. Our design is now coming into place. So from there, what we want to do, want to now target the nav, and then in the nav I'm going to say border also, and I'm going to just take the same border as this one. I'm going to copy it and then paste it here, but this one it's going to be border from top, so I'm just going to be saying top, and then save the file, and then perfect. This is what we want. But here again we want to add some stuff, which is the margin and the padding. So I'm going to paste this one here and then save the file. If I save the file and then come back to my browser, and you can see our application is taking effect now. So the next thing is now to style our stories like this, and then in the history I'm going to give it some padding and margin, but because I don't want to type all those stuff, so I'm going to just paste it like this, margin and padding of 10 pixels, and then I want to display it to be flex, and then I will give it a flex direction of column. Flex direction is going to be column, and then I want to give it a height. The height is going to be of 100 pixels, 100%. Okay, perfect. Now we have to get the p tag, the paragraph tag in our history. History like this, and then I want the paragraph, so I want to give it a cursor. So the cursor is going to be a pointer, that's it. And then if you could remember, we have this loading spinner. We have loading here, so we have to target loading and give it some styling too. So it is going to be the last part for our designing of the CSS. Then from there we jump straight away to JavaScript. So the loading, I'm just going to first take the ID of loading, and here I want to give it a visibility of hidden. But when we have a class of display on this loading, want to give it a visibility. If we have the class of display on it, we want to give it a visibility of visible. Want to give it visible here. So perfect. This is the end of our CSS. So our application is okay. Now let's get into our JavaScript and play around with our JavaScript now. So the first thing to do in our JavaScript, we have to figure out how to get our API, because our secret key, because this is what we are going to actually use in the application. So without it, we are not going to work with the ChatGPT application. So we have to get the API key. So to get the API key, I'm going to leave the link in the description for the website. So it is here is the platform.openai.com. You have to register to get it. So after registration, you come to API reference, and then in authentication. So in authentication, you'll come to this endpoint, and the endpoint we are targeting is this endpoint, which is http OpenAI API.openai.com version 1 chat, then completion. When you come to create chat completion, this is the API we want to take. We want to fetch actually, and then post some data which are coming from our website. So before doing that, I have to create my API. So I'm going to come here, and then I'm going to hit on authentication. Then I'm going to hit on API keys, and then here I want to create the API, a new secret key. So I have created here, but this is just like I'm testing it also. I was testing it before, so I'm going to create this one again. I'm going to give it a name of test2. So you have to follow along here with me, and then make sure not to show this secret key to anyone. So mine I'm going to show in this video, because after this video I'm going to delete it out, but you don't show your secret key with anyone. you should not show your secret key with anyone. It is your personal, so don't show it with anyone. Okay, so they are giving me this. Okay, let me finish it. Just okay. So they have generated for me my API key now. I'm just going to copy this. After copying it, then I'll just close it from here. Then I'll come back to my JavaScript and then I'll say cons API underscore key. So I'm going to paste this one here. So this is my API key. Use your own API key. So use your own API key, don't use mine. So from there I'm going to target now what? This button in our JavaScript, and the button that says the ID of submit. So I'm going to target the button. I'm going to say cons submit btn. Because the document dot query selector. Then I want to select the button with the class of submit like this. So this is what we want. So I want to add the event listener to this submit button. I'm going to say submit btn dot add event listener, and then the event listener I'm going to add is going to be a click event. I'm going to say click. Yeah, I'm going to say click event, and it is going to call a function. I'm going to name the function as get message. So this function, we did not declare it, but we have to declare it at the top here. So I'm going to say async, because we are going to play around with API, so that's why I'm using async. I'm going to say function, and then the function name, which is get message. So inside this function, I want the try catch block, and then in the try catch block here, in the catch, I'm going to console log. I'm going to console log the error if there's any error. So if there's no any error, I'm going to say cons, and then I will also the variable name, which is rest. I'm going to say now await. I'm going to fetch, and then I'm going to fetch from this endpoint I told you. So you just come to reference, and then come to authentication. In the authentication, completion, and then after clicking on the completion, let's scroll up, and then we get the endpoint is here. This is the endpoint we want. I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it here. Perfect, this is what we want. But let me put it in a one line like that. So this one is going to be in our options. This is an object, because it is going to take an object, but I just wanted to write it in a clean code. That's why I'm going to say options like this, and then it is going to take this object, and then here we're going to have the method, and then the method is going to be a post method. Okay, so after the post method, we want our headers. headers first thing. As you can see in the documentation, we are taking the content type and then the authorization. So I'm going to copy this because these are our headers, and then paste it here. Just let me take this one off and take this backslash out and put a comma here. Perfect. Let me hit tap on this so that it can get in the same line like here. So this one is going to be like this, and then this one. The same applies to this, but this one, because I'm going to put a dynamic data, I'm going to use the template literal like that. Okay, so here is where my dynamic data is going to go, and then the dynamic data is called API key, which is this API key we have here. So after using that, yeah, this is what we want. So from there, I want to take now the body, and the body which contains the model and the message. So I'm going to copy everything from here. I'm going to copy it and then come after the header. I'm going to say body, and then the body is going to take the JSON. We are going to convert it to a string. So after converting it to a string, we are passing this one. So we are passing the model. Everything it is in the documentation of the OpenAI. So you can also go and check out the documentation by yourself and read through it. So I'm going to take this system out because we are not system, we are just a normal user. So I'm going to use only the role of users, not the role of system. And then the message the message you are sending here, it is hello. I'm just going to leave it like this, but we are going to get the message from our input. So after that one, let me make sure this is the correct one. Okay, if I come here, yeah, this is the correct one here. So from there, I have to come here, and then I have to sequence data, which is going to return our data, and it is also async. But this one we are going to await the rest.json like this. So we have to console log and see what is given to us by the time we submit the data. So if I say data, then I hit on save and then open my browser, then I come to my console. So if I just hit this one, let me hit, and let me make sure it works. Let me first make sure that I'm getting the real button. The first thing here I have to do is to console log dot click. I want to say button click here. Button clicked. Perfect. So after refreshing this one, I'm just going to hit this one once again. So seems like our button is not clickable because I'm not seeing this console log. So we have to make sure we're calling the right thing. ID of submit. Let me take this one and then come here, document.query selector, ID of submit, like this. Let me save and then refresh this one here, then click it again. So I'm seeing our button is not clickable. Function get this one, which is called here. So let me just first comment everything from here to here. Here I just wanted to make sure our button is clickable. So let me hit refresh again, and if I hit this, so I'm seeing like our button is not clickable. Let me say submit btn.add event listener. The event listener is click and then it gets the message, which is this function. Okay, async function get message. Oh, I'm not seeing any error here because everything is looking legitimate. What might be the error? Click get function, which is this. We're getting the function. Let me make sure this is the right spelling of function. This is the right one. Okay, let me first click it once more. It is not doing anything yet. Document. Okay, the reason why it is not showing us because it's a mistake every time. I used to do that mistake. We did not link our JavaScript file, so we have to link this JavaScript file of ours here using this src, and then we say JS like this. So if I hit now save and hit refresh here and click on this, then I'll see button click here. So our button is now clickable. I'm sorry for that because it is a normal thing one of us do, so I'm so sorry, apologizing for that. So let me just uncomment this one and then save it again, and then come back here, refresh, then let me hit this now. So let's wait and see if we can get our result. So perfect, here we get our result. ChatGPT actually respond to us, and as you can see, it is inside the choices, and then in the choices, when you collapse, you find the length of 0, and then you can get the message. Inside the message, then you can see our content, which is the response by ChatGPT. So we want to get this response by ChatGPT. So for us to get this response, I'll just come here under our console. I'm going to say I want to target because I want to now output it. Remember, in our HTML we have the class of output somewhere else, the ID of output here. So this is where I want to take now and play around with it. So let me come here and then say const output equals to document dot query selector, and then I want to select the ID of output like this. So if I got the output, the ID of the output, so I want to display the return message inside that output. For me to do that, I'm going to say output dot value, and then I want its value to be equals to the, not value, but it is text content. Yeah, I want the text content to be equals to what? This data we got, and we have it inside the what? Choices, and then the first object, which is the message we want to get. So I'm going to say message like this, and then dot, it is in a content. So this is it, this is where exactly it is. So if I save this one, and then I come here and hit this one once again. Okay, let's wait. So we have it returned here, and then we have here our messages say, hello, how can I assist you today? Perfect. So our application, our website, our ChatGPT is taking effect now. So I want to first check. Yeah, I want to check now the what, if we have data in the return. Let me just copy this one from here. If data dot these choices, if there's a data or if there's a message here, we want to do something. So the thing we want to do, first thing, I want to say const. I want to generate a new P element, okay, which is going to be called, I'm going to say document dot, then I want to create an element. So the element I want to create is going to be a paragraph. This paragraph is the one we are going to save also in our story. So after creating this one, and I'm going to say p element dot, so from there I want to get its text content, which is like this, text content, and then the text content should be what, should be equals to the what, the value of the input. So for us to get the value of the input, we have to first get our input. So our input has this, our input is here. So we want to get the value of the input. So for us to get the value of the input, we want to call using this name of input. So I'm going to come to our JavaScript. At the top, I'm going to say const input value. Let me say input value is equals to document dot query selector, and I'm going to get this input like this. So the value of the input, so I'm going to say input value, I want it to be equals the input value like this dot, I want now its value, which is in the value like this. Okay, so after getting that one, remember I want, like, when we click on it, let it do something, let it change the input. So for us to do that, I'm going to say p element dot add event listener, and then the event listener is going to be of click. So when we click on it, we want to do something. So that something is running this function, and then the function is going to be called change input like this. Change input like this, which is going to take the value, and this value is going to be the element, the p element text, the text of the p element. And then I'm going to say text content, I'm sorry, like text content like this. Perfect. So after getting now that, after clicking on it, and we're getting the input, whatever, we're getting the p element we have created, its value we're now appending in the input. Want to say history dot append, but remember we don't have that history, so we have to call the history now, because this is where we're going to show that element in the history. So we want to create this history now. So for us to create the history, we have to also come here, up here, and then get the history value. So here we have this class name of history. I'm just going to copy it and then come here, and then I'm going to say cons. Oops, that's not how it is. Cons history equals to the dot query selector, and then I want to select the class name of this on history. So I have now the class, having the class name of history. So if I save the file, I save the file, then I come to my browser, and as you can see, when we type here like hello, and then I hit this enter here, so ChatGPT here respond to us, and then here we save our data in a history. The same as we can do with YouTube, as we if we say what is YouTube, and then I click on this button once again, then from there it is going to save also this what is YouTube in our history here. So let's wait and give it a moment. Though it is taking long, but as you can see here in our history, we have now YouTube there. So our functionality is now doing okay. What next I want to do is to now add the loading spinner, and when we click on this button here, because currently when we click this button it is not cleaning up for us the input. So we want to implement that functionality to clean the input, and then for the loading spinner, then we'll wrap up with this video. I'm going to come to my HTML here, and then see the new chat. It is in the button. Let me come to my JavaScript. I want to target the button, so I'm going to just give it a variable name of btn. So I'm going to target that button document.query selector, and then I want to select the button like this. So what else do we want to do? So I'm just going to come down here and say btn dot add event listener. So the event listener I want to add here, it is going to be a click event. So when we click on the button, we want the button to clean for us the input. I'm going to say add event listener. Sorry for that. Okay, after the click event, then I'm going to give it a function name, and then the function I'm going to say clear input, which is going to be my function. The function name I'm going to call it as clear input. So from there I want to declare the function up here. I'm going to say const, or let me just give it like this. Let me just name the function clear input like this. In the clear input, in this code block, I want to take the input value. Remember, the input, we give it a variable name of input value, so I want its value to be just empty string, to be equals to the empty string, just like that. So if I save the file and then I come back, and if we try to type something here and then I hit on this button, it will clean it up. As you can see, it is cleaning it up. I can say hello and then I click on this button to clean it up. Let's come to our JavaScript, to our CSS, and then in the button let's give it just a cursor pointer to make it like, to look like we have actually hovering over the button. So as you can see here, I have now the finger. This one indicates that actually I'm clicking the button. So the next thing is now for our loading spinner. I want to see the loading spinner. So for us to do that, we have to also target the word the loading in our HTML, then we show it in our JavaScript. So let me get back to my HTML, and as you can see here in the loading, I give it a ID of loading. So this is the ID I want to copy. Then from there, I'm going to call it from here. I'm going to say const loading equals to document dot query select again, and then I want to get the ID with the class of loading, with ID of loading, I'm sorry, like this. So now we have the loading. We have to write a function for loading status. If the status is loading, we want to display the loading. So I'm going to say function, and then I'm going to say loading data. This is the function name, but you can call it whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to call it loading data, because we are loading the data. From there, I want to get the loading variable I just declared, and then I want its class list to, I want to add the display. I want to add a class name of display here. Remember, in our CSS, we declared here a class name of display. So this is what we are doing. We are now manipulating it in the JavaScript. We are adding it dynamically. So the other one, we want to hide our data. When we get our whatever, we want to hide our loading spinner when we get our data. So I'm going to declare a function here, and then the function is going to say hide spinner. So in this hide spinner, I'm going to remove the whatever the spinner not load. So for me to do that, I have to first say loading dot class list, and then the class list I'm going to say remove. So what we're gonna remove, we are going to remove the class of display, the one we added, like this. You don't have to write a dot to specify that it is a class, because this one already specified it as a class. So this is what we want. Now when we scroll down here after the options, I want to show the loading data function. So I'm going to call the loading data function here, and then whatever I want to call the hide loading inside my if condition here. So here I'm going to hide my, if we now got the whatever, if we got the data, we want to hide the spinner, I'm going to call it here and then save the file. After saving the file, then I'll come back to my browser and then I try to save. Let me now change the question, like let me ask, what is ChatGPT even? What is ChatGPT? What is ChatGPT? So if I hit on enter, you can see it is loading. So when the data is already loaded, the loading is going to disappear from here, and then we are going to show our data, and then the history, which is what is ChatGPT, is going to be showing here. So let's wait and see if it will fetch for us the data. Let's give it some moment, and after that we'll wrap up the video. So I don't know why. Okay, my internet is down, that's why it is taking long. So I have to fix that. Sorry for that, really. Let me first reconnect back to my internet and then we'll fix it. Okay, my internet is now up. Let's refresh the page once more, and then we ask, what is ChatGPT? What is ChatGPT? So let's hit on enter, or this button, then it will load for us. So let's wait for our result now. So as you can see now, boom, we have our result here, and ChatGPT gave us the answer. ChatGPT is a language model developed by OpenAI. It utilizes a technique called GPT, which is generative pre-trained transformer. And then here in the side now, our history has been saved. And then we can also come and clear our input, and then we can also search for something different. So this is the end of this tutorial, and if you really like this video, really enjoy the video, and you really get to know how to work with APIs, and you really know how to build ChatGPT like this, give me a like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'm so glad to make such kind of content, and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I created such kind of content. So I wish you guys all the best. Bye bye for now.